everybody. I hope your weekend is going well. I'm back for another review of Love After Lockup, Fire and Gasoline, Season 6, Episode 3. If you're watching this, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so this episode gave us a little bit, and it gave us a new couple. We'll get to them in a second. I'm going to start off with Brooke and JK, okay? JK gets out. First of all, his name just lends itself to so much, because his name might as well be Just Kidding. Just kidding. I pretended like I love you. Just kidding. I was going to take your side over my mama's. Anyway, is it just me, or is it relieving to watch Love After Lockup for some reason? After watching a whole season of Love During Lockup? And I think it's just because when we're only hearing about people getting out, it kind of is exhausting and kind of stressful watching them like live that life. I don't know, maybe it was just me, but it's like, oh, finally somebody's like out. We actually seeing two people talk. Anyway, face to face. So JK comes out, he hugs his mom first. I don't know, I guess Brooke was gonna feel a way about that. Anyway, Brooke kisses him and his mom is complaining about them getting a room. I'm not saying that his mother does not make legitimate points. What I am saying is she has one of those unhealthy dislikes for her boyfriend's girlfriend that makes me not be able to fully take her side. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, I stand by it anyway. So he comes out of jail with a t-shirt that says husband, daddy, protector, king. I said, first of all, who gave you that shirt? Who sent it to you? And how, Sway? How are you any of those things? Who gave you that shirt? Your ex-girlfriend? Anyway, so I'm not trying to be funny, but actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it. No. Never mind. I was thinking about. Never mind. I'm gonna let it go. So he says he insists that prison made him a man because it made him more responsible and grateful and this, that, and the other. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. So at first I started to say when they were just meeting JK out of jail, I was like, dang, Brooke, that's the best you could look seeing him for the first time. And then I said, you know what? Honestly, I talk about people who are overdressed for people getting out of prison. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave it there. So his parole date, they read his parole date because he wants to go and get barbecue or whatever. And his parole date is 2033 to be off parole. That's a long ass time to be on parole. I feel like if you make somebody be on parole for that long, I don't understand why you letting them out of jail. I just feel like that's a long time to hem somebody up. Anyway, he was saying he is allowed to go get food before he touches base with his PO. The mom was like, no, call right now and make sure. Why is it always the people that weren't in prison that have to remind people in prison so you don't end up back there? This is what you need to do. Like Shantae did to True, his mama is doing for him. Like, why do the people who actually haven't been locked down have to be the ones to remind you, since you're such a responsible man now that you got out? Like, why are they always the people that have to make sure? Anyway, so they just said, yeah, you can go and eat, but then you have to go straight home to wherever he's paroled and call back at 9 a.m. the next day, whatever. So his mom is crying, and he talks about how he was a mama's boy. It wasn't that she did anything wrong. He just started getting caught up, and you know, we know the stories of how that goes. So the mother is all up in their sex life, and I'm not saying that she was not making absolute sense or good points. You know how somebody can say something that is absolutely true to you, and it's something about their spirit though that makes you go, but I still don't trust you. I don't like this advice. I don't think this advice is coming from a place of improvement. It's coming from a place of, I just want to judge you and hurt you and say what I've always been thinking. That kind of stuff that you have to learn in your early 20s about how people really not your friends. That's how his mama makes me feel. Anyway, so the mother's all up in their sex life talking about they need to use protection. Yes, she is right about that. No, y'all don't need a child right now. Brooke wants to have a kid with a man that has an ankle monitor, no job, and will be off parole in 2033. Ma'am, slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. First of all, he just got out of jail. I'm going to need you, one, not to be having sex with him unprotected. If we're going to keep it real before he gets tested. Number two, and you too, I know you don't want to be 40 having a baby. I completely understand that. But it's hard for me to believe that there was nobody else in Anquilla, Texas, or anywhere else that you could have dated to have another baby with, so you can have your 3 kids before you're 40. All right. Anyway, why are they trying to have a baby right away? I don't understand. Especially when he's already talking about how I need a woman to support me because I want to be gainfully employed, this, that, and the other. And good. It's going to take a minute. It'll take less of a minute because he's white. But my thing is, so you're going to need this woman to support you. And you know he means financially. But you want to have a child that you can't take care of. I can't. Okay. Anyway, so Brooke stays with that bird-ass logic of hers and says if she gets pregnant, it won't be immediately. It will be 9 months from now. I was like, oh my gosh. What the hell are you talking about? Like, she is actually pretending like, well, 9 months. And, like, girl, stop. Just stop. I can't stand people that dumb. So the mom is crying, saying her feelings are hurt over there in the corner of the barbecue restaurant and doesn't think they need to have a baby right away. I agree. Okay. However, Kathy, this is not about you. You've been tripping from the time you were at the hotel when you didn't get your own bedroom with this girl you don't like. You up in her full size or queen bed. Okay. And slept in a very inconvenient situation with somebody you have so much against. Come up off of it. Because I didn't see you pull out no money to pay for nothing. Anyway, Brooke, you're a fool for trying to have unprotected sex with a man out of jail and to have a baby. I said what I said. Moving on. Savannah and Bradley, I don't care. Why are they choosing to sit down with his sister Alyssa at a restaurant if you know your sister is a wild card and anything can happen? Y'all are stupid, like I said. All right, so Brooklyn and Brian. Brooklyn, I do think you're going to be TV worthy. But I do think this should be your one season on TV and we don't need to see you anymore because I can tell you're going to do dumb shit over and over again. It'll be fun the first time, not the second. All right, anyway, so Brooklyn is tripping about finding her keys and looking around because she's trying to hurry up and go to the prison. Now, originally, I thought she was going to the prison to pick him up. Just a few moments later, we find that she is trying to catch a peek of her boo before they ship him off to the halfway house. That's what she's rushing for. Knowing she's not going to be able to physically touch him or just like a sneak peek of him. Not only does she rush for this, she couldn't find her keys and didn't want to jeopardize getting a peek of him outside of jail in a car where he has to go directly to the halfway house. Like Beyonce was walking down Times Square. It's like, oh, I gotta hurry to get there. I just want to see. This is not the same. Okay, this is not the same. And even then, I damn sure wouldn't have left my door unlocked. Damn sure not no place like New York. Anyway, but she left the doors unlocked in her own house. But she couldn't find her keys. I said, girl, please. First of all, I ain't gonna tell you where I keep a spare, but I do keep a spare. But I'd be damned if I had a place that I worked for and this man coming out of jail is gonna be living with me and dependent on me, and then I'm putting myself in a position where the stuff I've earned could get stolen, broken into, all to see a peek of a man, drive by you, because that's exactly what happened. Anyway, and she don't have nobody to blame but herself. I'm sorry, she has level-headed people around her, and I can't wait for her brother to come back on. Anyway, so she's out there talking to cars, asking them to move because the truck went by, talking to herself, but talking to them. As if Brian will be able to see her and her him. Girl, this is what makes you look dumb. So she thinks she saw Brian in the minivan going to the halfway house. She got her phone out, I guess, to get a sneak. It was just giving desperation. And actually more stupidity than anything else. And Brooklyn, honestly, you're a pretty girl. You're attractive. I don't know why you are going into the dirt. Actually, I have some suspicions as to why. But nevertheless, going dirt diving, and I hate to put it like that, but at this point, it didn't take us long to realize what we already knew, and that's that you ain't the only one. Anyway, she thinks she saw Brian, like I said, in the minivan, but that was some silly shit. She's excited about it. You were walking in kitten heels on that dirt rock road near the prison. So she said his driver or PO passed her as if she was nothing. I said, girl, he didn't know you were there. And his directions were not to stop for you, even if you were there. Girl, please. So she is chasing him. She's dropping off his stuff at the halfway house. Girl, please stop playing the fool. Because it looks bad. Like, you don't even have nobody going in the car with you. Because they were not about to be a part of that. It was also early in the morning, though. Anyway, she picked up an envelope with his stuff, and like his tablet and stuff or whatever. And he trusted her with it, but like dumb people do. She pulls this picture out of the envelope, and the producer is like, what is it? And she checked that producer. She was like, give me a minute. And I was like, good for you. I get so tired of producers and all them other people talking to reality people. I can't say stars, but people like they're stupid and like they're less than, especially when they're black. But anyway, then she pulled out a picture of a girl who was really thick. And she was like, who is this big booty bitch? I was like, she kind of looked like you. He got a type. Anyway, so we get this new couple, Will and Courtney. We can already see this train has already wrecked, okay? But nevertheless, I guess we'll give it a go. So they got a lot of couples. I feel like somebody's going to stop filming. All right, anyway, so he's a video game nerd and an IT guy. He looked like it. He's creating a dating app for furries. So I thought I had heard something wrong. I was like, maybe I just didn't hear him. And when I realized what a furry was, and that's apparently an adult that walks around dressed like a furry animal, all I could do was chuckle. And then I felt sorry for them because I said, something is wrong. Something really is wrong. When that girl was like, people just think we're weird. And I was like, yeah. Because that's weird. Anyway, I can definitely see a video game nerd falling in love with a chick in prison. Because they spend all their times on computers and stuff like that. They like fake realities. So anyway, and they're used to talking to people they can't see, can't feel, aren't real. Anyway, she's using him. We all know this. But Will, you willingly walked into this shit. So like you are walking into it, eyes open, and you want the train wreck. You want it, and you're going to get it. Okay? His friend was like, I haven't seen him in a relationship in a while, but honestly, I feel like he's looking at this situation with rose-colored glasses on right now. I was like, he got like dilation shades on, like can't see. Okay, anyway, so they denied her interstate compact, which apparently allows you to go and live with someone or parole with someone out of state, but because they aren't related, like as family or married, she can't go from Oregon and California. And he was like, well, can we get married? And I was like, huh? And he was like, do you want to marry me? And she was like, yeah. No, she don't. She doesn't. And you know that too. Well, it was a slow, that sounded like you weren't so sure. She's not. And don't worry, she got somebody else when this falls apart. So he flies to Portland for her release, okay? And he's meeting her mom before he meets her. Her mom was decent. She wasn't really annoying or anything. He plans to ask her mother for Courtney's hand in marriage. And I'm like, oh my gosh, even the mom is going to know this is a bad idea. He said he doesn't know if he would be asking her to marry him if the compact thing wasn't an issue, but he knows he's in love with her. This is what he's telling the producers. All right? And those messy ass producers had nerve to ask Courtney's mom if she thought Will was her type. Now, mind you, they ain't met Courtney. They have not met Courtney. But everybody can see this train wreck for what it is because it's already happened as far as we're concerned. And she said, no, she's used to bad boys. We can tell. We could look at her and tell. Anyway, we find out he isn't, duh. He was on drugs previously. He said he'd been clean for 9 years. He doesn't miss that life. He managed to be a guy that was on drugs, working in IT, had to get his GED from high school, and now makes all this money. I didn't hear him say one time he went to college. Did he go to college? I'm telling you, black people get the shaft. Because no matter how hard we work, we get these degrees, everybody want to question you on the job and everything else, and he making all this money. Anyway, so he pulled out the ring and says to her mother, and says he's been thinking about asking her to marry him, and the mom was like, wow, that's crazy. That was translation for it is and what the fuck. Okay, I know my child. All right, anyway. Now, here we go, the star of the show. Because we didn't get a lot of people. But also, I don't care about Savannah and Bradley. So, Julius, Alexis, and Ashley. Now, if we're being honest, this is the way most of this goes. Okay? When we find out about it, when we know about it, as we know stuff is happening, we're just seeing this. There, you can tell they're moving into making this a thing. Like, who applies for the show? Did Julius apply for the show? Did Ashley apply for the show? And Alexis? And they all got together? Or did, I mean, they have to know to some degree. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, because they're producers here. Anyway, so we already, and you know that they're dating the same, I don't know. But I guess, if that's how you get paid, that's how you get paid. So we already know how Julius is an asshole. And he's disrespectful as hell, and it didn't take him long. And he actively does things to hurt the woman he's with. You can tell. All right? And it doesn't matter which woman it is. This is going to be his thing. He was in the car talking to his boys about how Ashley is tight. You know, she's tight. But I needed to hang with y'all. So basically, he got in the car so he could dog her out and talk about his other chicks to his homeboys who don't. All of y'all leave much to be desired. Anyway, so he knows she's mad. Then she gets out the car and he's doing that dumb shit. Like, why you gotta be mad? Knowing he's doing what he's doing to make her feel that way. Gaslighting. Alexis, I think you're a sweet young woman. I really do. I think you're a pretty young woman. And I know you probably like who you thought he was. I'm going to tell you from experience, darling, if it doesn't feel right, it ain't right. Shout out to Beyonce's Lemonade. Okay, run. All right, run. So she told him that he's hanging out with people that didn't even come to see him when he was in jail. I was like, oh. But apparently he doesn't care. Some people like to be treated like dog shit, and he seems to be one of them. And he's in a relationship now, as far as she's concerned, and she comes first. Now, girl, even if you're still young, I know you watched this show. You had to be on it. Stop expecting. Y'all have the most ridiculous expectations for these people. And some people, I really do think, like to have a guy in prison because they feel like they know where he is. And like men do, they will find a way to cheat. And these men in prison are no different. Anyway, yeah, so stop expecting them to come out and be faithful and not want to like enjoy life and be hugged up with you all day. It's just not real. It's just not real. So, you know, last week I said that he missed some developmental years because you go in at 19 and come out at 25, you know, that's really where you're starting to get your footing. And I know a lot of people think they have their footing, but like spending that time in college or just working, trying to figure out who you are. But I think I have to go back on that a little bit. Because honestly, his game seems like he picked it right back up where you could expect a sorry bastard to have it at 25. Straight no chaser. I'm almost questioning if he was in there. Did she buy that phone for him? That he's using to call other women? I'm just trying to, when he goes, where's my phone? And she gave it to him. I'm presuming that she bought this phone for him. I have lots of issues with that. Okay, and the phone is not cheap. I lost mine like 3 weeks ago and had to buy another one. And I don't buy iPhones. I don't believe I spend a whole lot of money. And that's for me. Girl, please. Anyway. And his sister is not your friend. We haven't seen you tape with her, and maybe it's because she knows that this is some bullshit, but she's not your friend. She's not. I mean, even if she loved her brother to death, I don't think this is the move she would have made if she was really your friend. So he told Alexis he needed to pee again or whatever at their little breakfast stop, and he went to the hall where the bathroom was, didn't go in, of course, and called Alexis to tell her that he's with his mother at breakfast on the speakerphone. This is why I say they have to know about each other. That restaurant wasn't that big. So he called her, and she's answering on speakerphone at either the Dollar Store or the now defunct Party City. But she's screaming like other people couldn't be in there shopping, minding their business. He said he's going to try and see her. And she told him, you know, like, I love you or whatever. And he was like, always. I said, and she's mad about it. And her friends are sitting there like, I told you. But the thing I can say about Ashley is your friends actually really told you. Okay? They seem like they were actually your friends, not just trying to read you. I mean, they read you before for a purpose. But my thing is, Ashley, you are 31 years old. And I used to think to myself, well, that's only 5 years difference. 25 and 31 are light years apart, especially in terms of men and women. I don't know why you tripping over this 25-year-old. He look like he could be your son. Anyway, Ashley said she's going to get a room so they can have some privacy. She's going to buy a hotel room. She's not even sure if he's going to show up. Let me know when you get out. So Julia said having Alexis, Ashley, and other people, I was like, see, there we go. I knew it was more chicks. Is keeping his options open. Like, he has the right to do that. You do. What you don't have the right to do is play in people's space, because that's messed up. Especially when they believe in you for some reason. Anyway, he's been out of jail for an hour and a half, okay? And calling Alexis clingy, and he didn't even drive with her over to the restaurant. You's a low-level bastard. Anyway, so Ashley goes and pays for the hotel room. Meanwhile, his other chick, as she gets ready, Ashley, I'm gonna start calling you changing faces. Because I promise you, you could get away with a lot. You could go undercover. I mean, you morph into all these different people. Anyway, her two friends show up at the room. I was like, the hotel room. And I thought to myself, why are they there? Why are they there? Okay? Other than to roast your decision. Because there is no reason for that. So they asked her if she was excited or she's having second thoughts. Okay. Translation, Ashley. Cut your losses, darling. Anyway, your friends have already figured out the mystery that you seem to be caught up in. Meanwhile, Julius goes home with Alexis, okay? Was it me or was she bringing in his bags instead of him carrying his own stuff and her stuff? No, thank you. No, thank you. Men like that are no good. So she has a sign up being like, welcome home, just, what's his name, Julius? Whatever. So she had a welcome back sign. He was like, man, she's making me feel good. And honestly, that makes me feel guilty for what I'm doing. Does it? Because you kind of seem like a sociopath. And I don't understand why men are such sociopaths. He literally was going to take a shower. They both, I don't know if it's the way they cut it up. It doesn't matter. They were supposed to be going to take a shower together, and he manages to scoot out on her terrace, calling Ashley. Alexis should have ran up on you and pushed your ass off that second floor and threw that grill down behind you. Because that's some disrespectful shit on my phone, on my line. And the only thing I would have went down there to help with is getting my phone back. Anyway, Julius calls Ashley on Alexis's terrace. Okay, when they're supposed to be spending time together at her house where she pays rent. Okay. Julius calls Ashley telling her he won't be able to make it tonight. She throws her phone, cuts it off, says, I'm not talking to him. He calls right back. That chick, grew an extensive arm to hurry to get that phone back. I said, you a dumb. Why are people so fucking dumb? So he says, well, look, I'm going to see you tomorrow. How the hell is Alexis not hearing him talk to this chick? In an apartment. He's on the porch, speaking on speakerphone. Okay, what did she think he was doing? Like, this is what I mean. Like, they have to know. So why was Ashley crying? I knew he was going to do this. I knew he was going to, bitch, go home. Have a party with your kids. Have a party with your friends. They already there. You said you didn't spend any money on him. I guess, except for those party balloons. So you don't even have as much of a loss. Ashley is really mad, and I'm like, didn't you say y'all have only been talking on and off for about a year? Like, stop. This was her birthday, and I was like, this is your birthday? Girl, fuck him. You spending money on a room for somebody who just got out of jail who wasn't going to see you. She's taking ass shots in the hotel room, and then after she said she wasn't talking no more, when she threw that phone, heard it, picked it back up, and texting him basically saying, this is what you're missing, and you know, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, if he really wanted it, he'd be there. He's not checking for you. And y'all know he got a series of other chicks. Anyway, that's all I have. This show is a trip. Love after lockup. I'll talk to y'all soon. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel.